There's a burden a lot of us are carrying around. There's a conversation we haven't started yet. Maybe we've circled close to it a few times and pulled back. Maybe a part of us is hoping something will change and we won't have to have it at all. That conversation is about assisted living for our parents. If you've been putting it off, I completely understand. And I want to be honest with you right from the start. I'm in the same place. This conversation is ahead of me too. My mom isn't quite there yet, but I can see it coming. And everything I'm about to share with you, I'm planning to use myself before I sit down with her. So let's think through this together. Let's start with why this conversation feels almost impossible. On the surface, it looks like a practical discussion. Where will you live? What kind of support do you need? What are the options? But that's not what your parent hears. What they often hear is, you can't take care of yourself anymore. Your independence is over. You don't get to make decisions about your life now. And that lands like a kind of grief for them. Because for many older parents, independence isn't just a preference, it's identity. It's the story they've told themselves about who they are. A conversation about assisted living can feel like someone asking them to rewrite the story entirely. On your side of the table, there's a different weight. There's guilt. Am I giving up on them? Am I doing this for the right reasons? Or am I just exhausted? There's grief for you too. The acknowledgement that things have changed in a way that aren't going to change back. Families tend to wait until there's a crisis that forces this conversation. A fall, or a scary health event, which means it happens when everybody is frightened and really raw. That's the worst possible conditions for this discussion. The goal today is to help you have it before that point, with more space, more calm, and more preparation than most people walk into it with. Before we talk about how to have this conversation, let's talk about when it should happen. There's no single moment that makes it obvious. It's almost always a pattern, a gradual accumulation of signals that something has shifted. And what's so hard is that those signals can be easily rationalized away one item at a time. Safety concerns are usually the clearest ones. Falls, especially more than one. Medication errors. Getting lost in familiar places. Driving accidents. Those aren't just worrying in isolation. They're signs that the gap between what your parent can manage and what their life requires is widening. Changes in self-care can be signals too. Hygiene, nutrition, keeping the home, and social withdrawal. Isolation accelerates decline faster than almost anything else, and it's easy to miss because it happens quietly. And then there's the internal signals you yourself feel. When worrying about your parents starts to affect your sleep, your ability to focus, that sense of dread every time the phone rings. That's your nervous system telling you that the current situation isn't sustainable. Most of us want our parents to age in place, to stay in their own home, in their own life, for as long as possible. That's a real and legitimate goal. But aging in place has requirements: safety, support, and connection. When those can't reliably be met anymore, the conversation isn't about giving up on that wish. It's about finding a different way to honor it. Okay, let's talk about preparation. Because the single biggest reason this conversation goes badly is that people walk in underprepared. Not just practically, but emotionally. Here's how I'm thinking about using AI to prepare for my own version of this conversation. First and foremost is for research. You cannot present options you don't understand. And the range of senior living options is genuinely confusing. Independent living, assisted living, memory care, continuing care communities, in-home care. These aren't interchangeable, and your parent is going to have questions. Walking in without answers makes you look uncertain, and uncertainty is the last thing you want in a conversation that already feels threatening to them. Here's a prompt you can use. Can you explain the full range of senior living options from in-home care to independent living to assisted living to memory care? What are the key differences? What level of need is each designed for? And what are the typical costs involved? Before you enter this prompt, provide as much context as possible. Explain your life and what you currently do for your parent. Explain your parent's current living situation, their wants and needs, their personality, any challenges they are facing right now. Explain what their preferred option is. Tell it what city and state they live in, as the rules and options can vary by location. Then enter the prompt. The more details you enter, the better the response you will get. If you enter the prompt just as it is, you are likely to get very generic information. So take some time with this and be as thorough as possible. Once you get the response from AI, go through each of the options yourself before you sit down with your parent. Ask the AI to create a one-page document with the key information for you to make things easier. Review all of it. Make any calls, complete any tasks, so you on your own can get more information. Know what you are talking about. Not so you can lecture your parent, so you can answer the questions that they have calmly when they come up. The second area is your own emotional preparation. Your feelings about this conversation will come through whether you intend them to or not. If you are walking in feeling guilty, it will sound like an apology. If you walk in feeling relieved, it might come across as impatience. Neither one serves this conversation. I've been sitting with a mix of emotions about this conversation myself. Worry, sadness, guilt, and frustration if I'm honest. So before I have this conversation with my parent, I'm going to use AI like this. I need to talk to my parent about assisted living, and I'm feeling guilty and scared. I want what is best for them. Help me process these feelings before I have the conversation with them, so that my emotions don't get in the way of what I'm actually trying to say to them. Now, this isn't therapy, but it's a way to talk the feelings out before you sit down for the discussion. The third area is anticipating resistance. Every parent is different. Some will shut down and not talk to you. Some will cry. Some will get angry. Some will dismiss the conversation entirely. Some will agree in the moment and then act like it never happened afterward. If your parent has dementia, they may not even remember that you had this conversation at all. So you need to be prepared for that also. Think about how your specific parent is likely to respond and get specific suggestions for that type of reaction. Here's the prompt. My parent is likely to react to this conversation by, and then describe what you think their reaction might be, given their personality, their history with difficult conversations, and their relationship to independence. Help me prepare responses to their most likely objections that don't escalate the conversation or make them feel cornered. Anticipation pushback isn't about winning an argument. It's about not being caught off guard in a moment that's already emotionally loaded. Now for the conversation itself. Take a deep breath. It will be okay. The most important thing I can tell you about this is start from love, not logistics. The first words out of your mouth set the entire tone for the conversation. If you open up with facts and options, it's going to feel clinical. If you open with why you're there, that you love them, that you're scared, that you want them to be safe and happy and themselves, it feels like what it actually is, concern. Frame it as a conversation, not a decision. You're not there to tell them what's going to happen. You're there to think out loud together about the future. That distinction really matters enormously to someone who feels like their autonomy is already slipping away. The language you use will shape how it lands. Here are some shifts worth making. Instead of, "You need more help," try, "I want to make sure you have the support that lets you keep being you." Instead of, "This isn't working anymore," try, "I've been worried, and I'd rather talk about it now than wait until something happens." Instead of, "We need to talk about your options," try, "I've been doing some research, and I'd love to share what I found and hear what you think about it." None of these are magic phrases, but they come from a different place, collaboration instead of intervention, and that difference will be felt by your parent. When they get angry, don't match their energy. Don't push through it. Name what you're seeing calmly. "I can hear that this is upsetting, and that makes sense." And give it a little space. Trying to logic someone through anger rarely works. Letting the anger be there without fighting it sometimes does. When your parent shuts down, don't force a resolution in that moment. End the conversation with the door open. Say, "I don't need us to decide anything today. I just wanted to start talking about it." That's not failure, that's planting a seed for other conversations going forward. And here's how AI can help with that opening specifically. Help me write an opening for a conversation with my parent about assisted living. They value their independence deeply and are likely to feel defensive. I want the first thing I say to feel like an invitation, not an intervention, coming from love and concern, not from a decision that's already been made for them. Read what the AI gives you. Adjust it until it sounds like you. Then practice saying it out loud before you go. This conversation almost never gets resolved in a single sitting, so know that going in. And it shouldn't. A decision of this magnitude deserves more than one discussion with your parent. Pushing for closure too fast can damage both the relationship and the outcome. Your goal after the first conversation isn't agreement. It's that the door is still open. If the first conversation went badly, here's how to approach the follow-up. Say to AI, "My parents shut down during our first conversation about assisted living. I don't want to pressure them, but I can't let it go entirely either. Help me plan a follow-up approach that keeps the dialogue open without making them feel like I'm pushing for a decision they're not ready to make." A few other things worth noting about that. Sometimes it lands differently from someone other than family members. A doctor raising the same concern carries a different weight than a child doing it. If you're hitting a wall, it might be worth asking their physician to address it at the next appointment. Not behind your parent's back, but as part of an ongoing conversation about their care. Just ask the question while you're there with them at the appointment. And if the family dynamics are complicated, if siblings have different opinions, or if the conversation is activating old tensions, an elder care mediator or social worker can be genuinely useful. This isn't a failure either. It's bringing in the right expertise for a genuinely complex situation. This is truly one of the hardest conversations in a caregiving journey. Not because the logistics are complicated, though they are, but because of what it means, what it asks of you, and what it asks of your parent. It's hard because you love them, and that's worth remembering when it doesn't go smoothly. AI won't have this conversation for you, but it can help you walk through it with a clearer head, a more grounded heart, and words that are more likely to open a door than close one. As for me, I'll be using these prompts before I sit down with my own mom. When that time comes, I'll let you know how it goes. In the meantime, I'm starting with the research. AI gave me some great advice. It gave me the agencies I need to talk to and their phone numbers. I'll be reaching out to one each week so I can get information without getting overwhelmed. If you've already been through this conversation, what do you wish you'd known going in? If this series has been helpful, please subscribe. I post new videos every week on using AI to navigate midlife with a little more grace. And next week, something a little more hopeful. We're talking about aging in place, what it really takes, and how AI is helping families make it work longer than most people think is possible. I'll see you there.